Sentence structure. Sentence structure in Spanish is pretty much the same as sentence structure in English. First of all, you capitalize the beginning of sentences. Proper nouns, titles with names. Now, that's like Mr., Mrs., Doña, Don, Miss. But remember, days of the week, months of the year are not capitalized. Days of the week and months of the year are not capitalized. Subjects, oh no, those are capital. Nope, subjects in school, those are not capitalized unless it's a specific name of the class. If the specific name of the class, then it is capitalized. Punctuation, periods at the end of the sentence, unless it's a question, or question marks at the beginning and end of the question. Remember, if it's at the beginning, that it needs to be upside down. Use commas, semicolons, and colons, just like you do in English. You know what? Let me move myself to the top over here. Subject, verb, agreement. The verb has to have the ending that goes with the subject. Now, we just started talking about this. We're going to talk more about it in the near future, and we're going to be using it all year long. So you will see this more often. Questions. When you have a question word, all question words in Spanish have an accent mark. Anytime you're using the word as a question word, it has an accent mark. Who, what, when, where, why, how much, how many. Those all have accent marks. So you would say the question word, the verb, the subject, and then the rest of the sentence. You could also have it as the question word, verb, and rest of sentence, depending on what the subject of the sentence is. Now, do, is, am, and are. In English, we use do a lot at the beginning of the sentence. Sometimes it's does. I should have put does in there also. Not always do you conjugate or do you translate that into Spanish. Also, if is, am, and are the linking verb or the helping verb to another verb in the sentence, it is not going to be translated directly. Okay, question words. Who, what, when, where, why, how. I already said that. Do, is, am, and are at the beginning of the sentence isn't usually conjugated if there's another verb in the sentence. Answering a question. If you're answering a yes or no question and you are going to say yes, then you would say C, and C has an accent mark on the I. Then you would say the subject of the sentence, the verb in its conjugated form, and then you would have the rest of the sentence. If you're answering no, then you would say no, comma, then the subject of the sentence, then no, because you're answering no. I don't do this, or I don't want this, or whatever. You're saying no twice. Now, sometimes when you answer the question, you say no, but then say the opposite. So if somebody says, do you like the color red? You can say no, I like the color blue. So if you answer the question and you're saying no, and then you're changing what the question asked, then you would not have the second no in it. The first C or no answers the question. The second no is the negation of the original sentence. Make sure you use the correct subject to answer the question. So if the question asks, do you like something? You have to answer it, I like or I don't like something. So you have to remember that look at who the question is being asked to. Does he do this? No, he doesn't do this. But when it's asking, do you or do a group of you do something, you have to answer it with either I or we do this. If you have more than one verb in the sentence, the first verb is conjugated, the second verb is in the infinitive. That means if it is not a new action. Okay? So if I was going to say, I want to swim is not going to be conjugated. It's going to be left in the infinitive form. It says to swim. To swim is the infinitive form. Now, if you're listing actions like I ran, swam, and played tennis, when I have those three and they would have commas in between them in English like that, then same thing happens in Spanish. You would conjugate each one of those. And we'll do some more of them later on. We're just taking notes on this right now. Some verbs get prepositions after them and go before the second verb. And we'll talk more about that as they come. Just want you to have these notes. Examples of the first conjugated and second use of the infinitive. Okay, sorry. I have to shop. Okay, she starts to run. So the first verb, have, would be conjugated. The second one, to shop, would not be conjugated. She starts would be conjugated. To run would not be conjugated. They like to sing. The like would be conjugated. The to sing would not be conjugated. Examples of each verb being conjugated. See how it says talk, comma, walk, comma, and laugh? It's all three. There's no period at the end of that sentence. Horrible. So talk, walk, and laugh would all be conjugated in that sentence. She knows that he runs. Because this right here is a phrase. They have a conjunction right here. And this is a totally different phrase over here. So it would make both of those conjugated verbs. Verbs that have prepositions after them before a second verb in the infinitive form. Okay? You won't know any of these verbs for right now. Tener que. It always has the que after it. Ir a, or I should say 90% of the time, they have the que or the a after them. Empezar a. Pensar en. Pensar de. All of these happen to be irregular conjugating verbs. You will not learn them for a while. But we're introducing them now so that you know that some verbs do have a preposition after them. Direct objects. What was verbed? What was eaten? What was worked on? What was taught? What was learned? Okay? Sorry. If the direct object is a person or pet, then an a goes in front of the direct object. It's called a personal a. Indirect object. To whom or for whom was it verbed? I wrote a letter to George. To whom was it written? It was written to George. What pronoun would you answer, What pronoun would you answer the question with? Okay, so if somebody asked you a question and they said, do we do something? Yes, we do. No, we don't. Do you do something? I do something. So if the question was asked with nosotros, you answer it with nosotros. If the question was asked with tú, you would answer it with yo. If the question was asked with usted, you would answer it with yo. If it was asked with vosotros or ustedes, because that would be the plural, you all, you would answer it we. Do you all like to do this? Yes, we like to do this. Does he or she like to do this? Yes, he or she likes to do this. Do they like to do this? Yes, they like to do this. Okay. What pronoun would you use? Would you use to answer the question? How are you? I or yo. Are you guys going home? You guys, that means a group of people. We or nosotros. Are they sick? Yes or no to whether they are sick. Ellos or ellas. Oops. I never know where all these are going. What are we doing? We are going to the store. Where is she from? She is from Venezuela. Are you sick? When you're talking about ser, when we talk about ser, remember that ser is a permanent thing. Possession, origin, personality traits, time, occupation, physical traits, site, meaning location of an event. Okay, yo soy, tú eres, él es, ella es, usted es, nosotros somos, vosotros sois, ellos son, ellas son, ustedes. Okay, there are contractions in Spanish. There are two contractions. That's it. To the. A, el would make al. From or of the would be de plus el and would be del. Those are the only two contractions in Spanish where you take two words and make them one word. Okay, at a certain time. Instead of saying it is, you are using at. So at in Spanish is a. So a la una. And then you put y or menos depending on what time it is. Okay, at 10:15 p.m. A las 10:15 de la noche. Okay, that's not a full sentence right there. That's a phrase. At 2:37 p.m. A las 3 menos 23. That should have an accent mark right here. Sorry about that. De la noche. At 7:05 a.m. A las 7:05 de la mañana. De la mañana. De la noche. De la noche. Okay? A las, and then a time, and y or menos. So at 1:30 a.m. A la 1:30 de la mañana. At 5:20 a.m. A las 5:20 de la mañana. Oh, these aren't even the menos ones. There are some menos ones over there. Okay? And a las 4:11 de la